Test, 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 test. Thank you, Calypso.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Nathan Haynes. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. I use he, him pronouns. I am not Cuffy. I think she's out trying to find a parking space. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick. Whether you're attending in person or from home or gathering with others remotely, we're glad you're here. Today is March 1st, 2026, and our service is led today by Dr. Karma Amos with music by Will Bristol and the Pop-Up Choir. And we have one announcement.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Kurtz. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a member of the Wabanaki Awareness Group. UUCB is located on the ancestral homelands of the Wabanaki people who have a deep, enduring, and ongoing relationships with Brunswick's lands and waterways. We acknowledge the painful legacy of the region's colonial history and commit to better understanding it. We will work to recognize and welcome the presence and concerns of the Wabanaki, whose people and culture still live within and contribute to the vitality of this community we share. The Wabanaki Awareness Group's question this month, this is March, is, how do the Wabanaki view the land? You can find the answer on the poster in the church entryway. By highlighting this information, we hope to deepen our understanding of this region's colonial history and its continuing impact on the Wabanaki.
If you're new or visiting today and would like more information on our congregation, please stop by the visitors table in the back of the fellowship hall. The folks there will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. As we begin today's service, please remember to silence your personal devices. And once again, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Good morning. My name is Karma Amos. I use she, her pronouns, and it's my honor to serve as the minister of this congregation. It is this church's tradition to hold a moment of silence at the beginning of worship when any of our members has died. And so today we invite you to observe a moment of silence as we honor the memory of both Monica Hampkins and of Dexter Kamalevitz, both of whom were longtime members of this congregation who have died recently. You may stay seated or you may rise if you like, but let us honor these souls who have enriched this world and this congregation with their life and their light. You may be seated.
Good morning. My name is Abby Laurie, and I use she, her pronouns.
And my name is Janet Fournier, and I use she, her pronouns.
And for our chalice lighting this morning, I'm reading To Practice the Revolutionary Act of Noticing by Reverend Michelle Collins. Come, awaken your senses to this moment where we practice the revolutionary act of noticing, the breath that sustains us, the beauty hiding in ordinary hours, the small things that keep hope alive. Come, let us train our attention on that which leads us home.
And good morning again, beloveds. No matter who you are, or whom you love, or how you configure your family, or where you come from, or what your religious history is or isn't, we welcome you and all of who you are to this community. We are a dispersed congregation. We are gathered here in our sanctuary in Brunswick, at the Evening Star Theater, at the Tontine Mall, at the Highlands in Topsom, and everywhere else that people are joining us online. We are drawn together by shared values, by a desire to center love, to live with integrity, and to leave this world a little better than we found it. We welcome you and the gift that you are and the gifts that you bring. We know that we are stronger and wiser and more courageous together than any one of us could be on our own. And so it is a good to be together today. Today is the beginning of a new month. It is also the beginning of a new theme of reflection for us, and that theme is paying attention. Are you? Maybe a little too early for that question. But what is it that we pay attention to? And conversely, when we aren't paying attention, what mysteries and miracles of life are we not noticing? These are some of the questions that we'll hold throughout this month and begin to reflect on today. So welcome again, friends. We are glad that you are here. Let us pay attention to the movement of the Spirit in and between us as we worship together.
In body or in spirit for our opening song. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that somebody, there's a river seated.
Good morning. My name is Tobin Cooney Calnan. My pronouns are he and they, and I serve as your lifelong spiritual formation director. Now is the time in the service when I would like to call up my friends, those who are young and young at heart. Come on. Hello. Hi, River. Good morning. Hi, Maya. Hi, Holden. Hi, Sean. Hi, Nora. Hi, Nora's friend. Hi, Sadie. Hello. Hi, everybody. How are you all? Hi. Hi, Luther. Hi, Sam. All right. That is a lovely dress. Can you tell me your name? Claire, did you come with Nora today? Well, very nice to meet you, Claire. I'm Tobin. She's your cousin? Oh, cousins are so fun. I have a lot of cousins. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lucille. So I'm curious today about, so that we're talking about, wait, were you paying attention? What are we talking about today? Maya, attention. Oh, very, very good job. What's attention? Oh, Sam, what's attention? Yeah, you can pay attention to people by looking at them when they're talking or listening when they're speaking. Fiona. Attention is attention.
Attention is like you need to be aware of what you're paying attention to actually be paying attention. I think that's a big factor.
Yeah, being aware. You can't pay attention if you're not aware of what's happening around you, and you can't be aware of what's happening around you if you're not paying attention. Be in the present moment. Holden. Focusing on what you need to pay attention to. Maya, did you have another one? That's so clinical. I love it. Actually obtaining and processing the information, says Maya. So I have a story today that's about paying attention. With this story, it's kind of like sometimes if you're up in here, you're thinking about like, oh, I got all this for homework, or I can't wait to get home to play with my new toy or my video game. We forget to pay attention. I've been paying attention lately, and I've noticed that I hear sounds that I wasn't hearing a little while ago back in my yard. Has anybody noticed any sounds that have come back? Maya. Birds. Yeah, I've been hearing birds.
It's very rare, but I've been seeing little glimpses of squirrels.
Little glimpses of squirrels. My dog, too. Not making him happy, though.
Your dog have something in common. Me and your dog.
So the story I have today is about what we pay attention to and what calls our attention and what we have to sort of train ourselves to notice. So it's called Come With Me, and it was written by Holly McGee with illustrations by Pascal Lemaitre. All over the world, the news told and told and retold of anger and hatred, people against people. And the little girl, she was frightened by everything she heard and saw and felt. She asked her papa if there was something she could do to make the world a better place. Her papa said, "Come with me." Hand in hand, they walked out the door to the subway. Waiting there on the platform, her papa tipped his hat to those he met. So the little girl did too. Rode the train through the tunnels underground. The little girl and her papa were brave and kind, and that day they won a tiny battle over fear for themselves and for the people of the world. The news kept telling of anger and hatred, and the little girl asked her mama what she could do to make the world a better place. Her mama said, "Come with me." They went to their grocery to buy some things for dinner. Because one person doesn't represent a family or a race or the people of a land. Her mama cooked, and the girl set the table, piece by piece, as she'd always done. Plate in the middle, knife and spoon to the right, fork on the left, napkin by its side, water glass. The little girl sat with her mama and her papa, and they ate together. Her dog nuzzled her under the table. She scratched his head a bit. "I want to do something of my own," she said. "Can I walk the dog?" Her parents looked at each other, and they looked at their child. They let her go and sent a message to the world that they would not live in fear. And when the little girl opened the door, the boy across the hall opened his door too. "Where are you going?" he asked. The little girl said, "Come with me, because two people together are stronger than one." The girl, the boy, and the dog were happy to be out. One step at a time, they understood what they could do to make the world a better place. They could go on. Brave, gentle, strong, and kind to one another and to all living things. As tiny as it was, their part mattered to the world. Your part matters too. Come with me. To your classroom, yeah. I just quickly want to say, did you notice anything while you were paying attention to some of the things that were happening in the book? Would you notice, River?
I noticed, well, first of all, just on the cover, I noticed all the interesting little scenarios. I noticed that, like, someone that looks exactly like the dad, just in a hat, is doing the same thing as her. There's a lot of people walking dogs. Somebody's walking a baby.
As you do.
Confusing me. Somebody looks like Sherlock Holmes with a little balloon. The designs are interesting. Okay, never mind.
What I was hoping to hear is that there were lots of different things happening and lots of different people doing them. So if we are noticing all of the different kinds of people around us and we are showing up and being present for them, the world can change. So let's go change the world. We're gonna sing ourselves out to our classroom, but our meeting spaces, because this is not school. But before we do that, I saw a couple new faces, so I just wanna give a little bit of instruction. So if you have never been here before, this is the time when we will head out through those doors. If you are the orange group leaders, can you stand up? If you are in 3rd grade or under, you're gonna go with Jane and Abby. Can our yellow group leaders please stand up? If you are in 6th grade or younger, you're gonna go follow that man way back there with the mustache. That's Nathan, he's gonna help you, or you can go here with Louise. And if you are a youth, you're gonna come with me. Can you please lead us and we will keep a place for you.
We will keep a place for you wherever you may go. We'll sustain this home of faith and love you've come to know. Go in peace, bring hope to hearts that yearn. We will keep a place for you till you return.
I'm Willow Whitehouse. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the Pastoral Care Associates. If you are not attending in-person services and would like a joy or concern read from the pulpit, you can send an email to joys-and-concerns@uubrunswick.org. If you would like to talk to one of us after the service, look for the light blue tags on our ribbons on our name tags. Our names are also in the order of service. We would be happy to meet with you here or meet with you later. We offer a listening ear and our presence. Under Joys, we have to all our membership committee helpers yesterday for Soups On, a big thank you. Under Concerns, Anna M. Hudak, mother of Richard Hudak of Bath, passed on January 30 at the age of 84 after a brief battle with CNS lymphoma. She is survived by Richard Sr., her husband of 64 years, and her children Richard II, Bernadette, Veronica, and Christopher. And then the other thing noted under concern here, I think we would all echo, please, please, no more wars.
As we enter into a time of community prayer and contemplation, I invite you to pay attention to your breath, in and out. To pay attention to the beating of your heart, to the sounds of community reminding us right now that we are not alone. As we settle into this sacred time of stillness and connection, may we bring our awareness fully here, right now, to this moment, to this opportunity to open ourselves more fully to life and its layers. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to presence. Listen to prayer.
Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to presence. Listen to prayer. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to presence, listen to prayer. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to presence, listen to prayer. Be still and breathe.
We are alive on this winter day in a world that is both broken and beautiful. Today we acknowledge the loss of some longtime members of this congregation with sadness and with sympathy and care for their family and friends whose hearts are tender and heavy. We also acknowledge new attacks and counterattacks against Iran and many other places now, escalating fears of war. More broadly, the daily news these days can sometimes feel overwhelming. The struggles of our fellow human beings, both here and around this globe, are sometimes heartbreaking. And some of us are just plain worn out from what we've had to carry just this week alone. Spirit of comfort and strength, reassure us that we are enough, that we have enough together to face the future. In those moments when we aren't sure that we have what it will take, inspire us to reach out rather than closing ourselves off. May we be open to the wisdom life has to offer, even from heartbreak and pain, even from suffering. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to heartache, listen to grief. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to heartache, listen to grief. Be still and breathe. And even as we refuse to turn away from the suffering of this world and its creatures, it is also true that every day holds new life, the discovery of new species, possibilities for renewal and growth, new opportunities to listen to our better angels and center our actions in love. Spirit of transformation, capture our attention with what is beautiful and good and full of joy, that we might find some sense of balance, some inspiration to lean in the direction of justice and kindness and care. Grant us reminders that even the small things matter, and that nothing given in compassion is ever too small to make a difference. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to beauty, listen to joy. Be still and breathe. Be still and breathe. Listen still and be. Listen to beauty, listen to joy. Be still and breathe. For the joys and concerns shared, for those we haven't yet known how to share because we feel too fragile or simply do not have the words, let us simply be and breathe together, for this too is prayer. This too is sacred connection.
Be still and breathe. Be
Still and be. Listen to presence, listen to prayer. Be still and breathe. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Betsy Williams. I use she, her pronouns. I'm reading a poem by Lisa Owens Vianney titled How to Be Dead. Do not feel the sun cascading on your shoulders like a warm waterfall as you walk. Do not watch the violet-green swallows skimming overhead so close that a strand of your hair lifts and falls in their wake. Do not notice the pale green, just emerging leaves of the persimmon tree, the oak trees, the frothy blossoms of the apple tree and the cherry. Do not pet every dog you see on your walk, from the friendliest pit bull Petey to the joyful ball-obsessed cocker spaniel. Do not listen to exquisite music in one ear, birdsong in the other. Refuse to feel the sweetness of it all.
Have any of you ever taken a walk holding a device, texting a friend, scrolling some feed, and suddenly found yourself lying on the sidewalk, having tripped over something that you never saw, or maybe collided with some stranger that came out of nowhere? Anyone? Just me, is it? Now, if this is going to go well, I'm going to need you to be more honest. How many of you think that you are pretty good at multitasking? Right? You have the capacity to attend to more than one thing at a time, and you're pretty proud of it. Keep your hands up. Okay. How many of you think multitasking is impossible, that humans actually cannot pay attention to more than one thing at a time? All right, hands down. How many of you raised your hand both times? I knew it. We really are Unitarian Universalist congregation. Now, this is actually not that surprising. I find myself swinging from the pendulum of multitasking to mindfulness to some extent every day. And if I'm honest, probably not primarily on the side of mindfulness, where I wish that I were. I'm probably clumped more consistently over here with multitasking. Stephen Majersic came to our last worship committee discussion on this theme of paying attention, bearing gifts, namely Chris Hayes' book, The Siren's Call. And Steve, I haven't forgotten it's a loaner. I'm still working through it. The title of the book is doubly clever because it is a reference to the mythical sirens from the Odyssey, right? The sirens were the ones whose beautiful singing could enchant and distract sojourners from the very real perils on their journey. And it is also a reference to the ubiquitous sounds of sirens calling our attention from emergency to emergency to emergency, both literally and metaphorically. The subtitle of his book, The Siren's Call, is called How Attention Became the Most Endangered Resource, the world's most endangered resource. And I have to say that it's a compelling realization to think seriously about how our attention is being seized and manipulated by so many things. And we still have choices about where we focus attention. Now, all of our brains don't work in the same way, and so that choice of how to focus attention is more difficult for some of us than it is for others, but we all have some agency. Now, I wish I could tell you that I had this down, this ability to focus my attention only on the things that really matter and to avoid being distracted by nonsense. I would like to tell you that, but it wouldn't be true. Because the truth of the matter is that I'm still trying to unlearn some of the ways in which my attention has been shaped and focused by my own life experiences and by my culture. Here's an example, and I'll ask this in the form of a question too. Have you ever, any of you, ever received a job evaluation or a report card or some other kind of feedback about your performance or something you've done, and you get that whatever it is, and it may list 10 or 20 superlative compliments, right? A+, affirmation of your gifts, appreciation for who you are and what you offer. And then there might be one teeny tiny, almost infinitesimal suggestion for growth. Something you might do better or explore doing differently next time, right? Maybe an A- or an F. And here's the question. In those situations, how many of you immediately forget every good thing that has been said and hone in on the criticism? And are any of you who raised your hands also pretty skilled at berating yourself in those moments? Maybe even making judgments about your own worthiness? We're joking, but this is serious. And that happens to me too, and it's sad, isn't it? Would you take a deep breath with me? When that happens to me, it does not serve me or anyone else very well. I have been shaped by perfectionism like most people who grew up here, but this is about more than that. It's further complicated because to focus our attention in that way, to amplify or focus only on the negative, diminishes who we are and what we are in fact totally capable of being and doing. When we focus our attention on all that is wrong in us, in the people who have disappointed us, in the world that has not met our expectations, when we focus on that, we have chosen a limited version of life and of ourselves. And there is a literal cost to that. In the words of Oliver Burkeman in our centering thought for today, your experience of being alive consists of nothing other than the sum of everything to which you pay attention. At the end of your life, looking back, whatever compelled your attention from moment to moment is simply what your life will have been. So when you pay attention to something you don't especially value, it's no exaggeration to say that you are paying with your life. It gives a whole different notion of paying attention, doesn't it? And that's what Chris Hayes is writing about too in his book. We are always faced with myriad demands on our attention. It seems like more and more of them. And the choices that we make about what we pay attention to, whom we pay attention to, and how much quality attention we actually give matters a great deal. In words widely attributed to James Redfield, this concept is summed up in the phrase, where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. It's a lot like this paying attention experiment that my mom used to do with my brother and me when we were small kids. No doubt we would have been rushing about fighting with one another or otherwise raising a ruckus. And she would tell us to sit down in front of the window and pay attention to the plant. My mom was an avid gardener, and we always had plants everywhere, and she would direct our attention to the tall ones that were clearly bending over towards the window. And then she would spin the pot and tell us to pay close attention because it was gonna move. Sometimes we even tried, but we could never pay enough attention to see that happen. Later in the day, though, we were always mesmerized that the plant had leaned itself way over backwards in the opposite direction. How did we miss that? When did it happen? Like, was this just Mom being sneaky like the tooth fairy? Spinning the pots around? But the movement was real, and you know this, right? You've seen it. It wasn't until I was much older that I learned the fancy word for this phenomenon. It's called heliotropism, the directional growth of a plant towards the light. The plant actually reorients itself in the direction of the sun, in the direction of its energy source. And you know what? We do the same thing. As individuals, our lives lean in the direction of our energy sources. Our minds and our hearts and our attitudes, all of it, lean in the direction where we pay attention and thus derive energy. I've heard several of you say in the past year, I just can't watch the news. not to mention the longest State of the Union in history. Now, I imagine that one of the reasons that you just can't, and I've said it too, is because focusing attention on every emergency, every cruelty, every blatant injustice, every dangerous escalation, every lie, focusing attention only on that can deplete your joy in life. It can make you nose blind to the smell of flowers. It can render the technicolor beauty of the garden into a flat grayscale. It can elevate the sound of fear to a roar that overpowers the hopeful melody of birdsong and the laughter of children. This is what the poet Lisa Owens Vianney was capturing in her poem, How to Be Dead. She's saying that if we aren't careful, we can be dead, or at least not fully alive, even while we are living, if we aren't paying attention to all that is good and holy in this world, all that is a source of delight and awe and inspiration. Now, I am not saying, as Monty Python put it in The Life of Brian, always look on the bright side of life. Hoo-hoo, 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 hoo-hoo. Right? I'm not saying that. I am not encouraging us to just choose optimism or to deny or ignore life's challenges or sorrows. We can't. But I am saying that where we choose to pay attention may have more impact on our experience of life and what we believe is possible than we may at first think. And while so many frame the world in binary terms, it's either this or that, life usually is not that way. And we can hold paradox. We can understand that multiple things can be true and multiple perspectives can be valid at the same time. There is life to be witnessed and experienced in the spaces between the competing sirens calling for our attention. Mr. Rogers, the Presbyterian saint of blessed memory, used to say that when the sirens sound, when you know there is danger, and especially if you're scared, look for the helpers. This advice, wise for children and adults alike, is not to ignore the siren completely, because we need to be able to witness life in its unpredictable, complex reality. But if we focus only on the danger, we might get overwhelmed. There's always more there than it might first appear. And if we look for the helpers, if we look for those who are moved by compassion, who show up to meet whatever the challenge of the moment is with courage and love and blankets and food, if we look for the helpers, we may be able to lean in the direction of life, of working together, of working for everyone, of not giving up on love, of refusing to be co-opted by cruelty or to think only of ourselves. Where attention goes, energy flows. May this month offer us space and time and good company in which to consider how we are paying attention with our lives.
My name's Stephanie Bernier, and I'm a member of the worship committee. This is the time in our service where we receive your offering. All Sunday non-pledge cash is split with the monthly Charities with Soul, and this month we're splitting with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. If you're worshiping with us in person, you can put your donations in the baskets that will be passed. And if you're worshiping with us either online, at home, or at one of our satellite locations, we invite you to use the QR code on the screen or shared in the order of service to make your donation. We gratefully receive your gifts, no matter how you give them. If you need help with QR codes, please ask someone for help. Thank you. Please join me in our congregational response. May these offerings sustain and grow the work of this church, weaving a tapestry of love and action. Thank you.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing songs. We'll start with one from the Teal hymnal, Filled with Loving Kindness, and then we will sing, I Choose Love. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love. In the midst of war, in the midst of war, I choose peace. I choose peace. In the midst of war, I choose peace. In the midst of war, hate and anger keeping score, I seek the good once more. I choose peace. I choose peace. When my world falls down, when my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, explanations can't be found. I will climb to holy ground. I will rise. I will rise. In the midst of pain. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love. Will you choose love?
Our closing words this morning are from Lori Stevens. We may pay attention, but it returns on its investment. What we attend grows. What we focus on clarifies. Who we hold in our hearts is comforted. Our minds are the mind of the universe. Our attention connects us to each other and to all that is.
And now we invite you to pay attention to some invitations and opportunities that we have to offer you to more fully engage in our community. The QR code on the screen will take you to a digital copy of our announcement sheets, several copies of which are available on the harvest table or at the Evening Star near the coffee. And I want to apologize for the number of announcements, but I'm also excited to let you know all these opportunities. So today, we have several opportunities. Do whatever inspires you. At 11:30, we are screening the new documentary, Heightened Scrutiny, which details the work of civil rights lawyer Chase Strangio, who's arguing before the Supreme Court for transgender adolescents' access to gender-affirming health care, especially as Maine prepares for an onslaught of anti-trans ballot measures. This is a good opportunity to understand more of what's at stake. This is free, and the movie is not even in theaters yet. No pre-registration required. All are welcome. That's at 11:30. If you'd like to sign postcards pre-addressed to Governor Mills asking for her support of Wabanaki legislation, please stop by the visitors table today, right after the service. From 11:15 to 12:15, there's a chance to learn to make melt the ice resistance hats in the Wendell Berry Room. Yarn and patterns are available. This is sponsored by the UUCB Immigrant Justice Focus Group, and donations will directly benefit our immigrant neighbors. And we want to thank especially Sue Mondabaugh, and other knitters. Also at 1 o'clock this afternoon at Monument Square in Portland, Will Bristol and some fellow songsters will be teaching and leading a selection of songs from the Singing Resistance Songbook. This is part of a peaceful national movement to stand in resistance against authoritarianism by raising voices in song. Signs are encouraged. At 3 p.m., Gulf of Maine Books and Working for Justice are hosting an event here in the sanctuary with Phyllis Benner, who will read from her book, Understanding Palestine and Israel. There will be time for conversation. Also beginning today, UUCB is hosting a solidarity drive organized by Mid-Coast Hunger Prevention Program. This is a community-wide program, an effort to collect food and supplies for our immigrant neighbors. There are collection boxes here in the entry foyer and at our remote locations. Please give generously. Also today, it's the first Sunday of the month, and there'll be a newcomer chat over on your right side, and Vicky's holding up a sign where she'll be. Please feel free to bring your coffee there. Now, beyond today, next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, March 7th, from 1 to 2:30, following up on February's Soul Matters worship theme of embodying resilience, Will and Reverend Karma will present a workshop focused on experientially feeling embodied through song. Open to all who are curious, please register in advance with the QR code on the posters or by emailing Will at music-director@uubrunswick.org. A concert perfect for these times, social justice singer Chris Matthews, who was named 2024 Artist of the Year at the International Folk Music Awards, will be performing for Concerts for a Cause this coming Saturday, Is that March 7th? Please get your tickets today. And Louise also has an announcement.
Try to be brief. As you may know, the UUCB Board of Trustees has agreed and decided to continue streaming the Sunday worship services at the Evening Star through June 7th. So we really wanted everybody to keep the momentum up. Try to go to, if you can, try to go to the Evening Star once a month. In addition, there are 5 people on the Growth Task Force who've been sharing the hosting duties at the Evening Star, and we would really, since we're going to be going until June, we'd like to expand the number of hosts that we have. It's an easy job, it's a fun job. We'll tell you what you have to do. The Evening Star folks are really good to work with. They make the coffee. You don't even have to make coffee. So if you're interested, see me or one of the other task force members, David Q, Mike Keith, Bill Bristol, or Kurt Neufeld. And now, I get to do the end. For the folks sitting in the back, you get the first dibs on coffee. So as soon as I shut up, you can head out. And the rest of us who are sitting in the sanctuary part, please stand up, greet your neighbor, and linger a while to get the chairs stacked up so we'll have more space in the back. Thanks. So greet your neighbor.